So we need all the kids again to come and sit on the front row. Since this is actually just going to be another children's story. So you guys can sit up here. That way I can look at the big people too. You boys going to join the girls? I'm sure they won't bite. Maybe. Okay, how many of you like treasures? You like treasures? I like treasures. Okay, so without Googling on your phone, adults, who can tell me what happened January 24, 1848? Without Googling. It's all about treasure. Can you kids guess? You can't guess? You haven't got that far in school yet? Nobody can guess? How about the name James? Does James help you any? No? How about the name James Marshall? Oh, Kendra, you know? Come on, somebody. Okay, quick, you can Google. You can tell me. No, it's not in 2017. It's 1848. That was before your mom and dad were born. Wow, before you were born. Has to do with treasure. Anybody got it? What happened? Nobody? Come on, Rochelle. You're fast. No guesses? It was really important. Really. You can't guess. Aha, I think your daddy has it.
He was an American carpenter and sawmill operator who reported the finding of gold at Vernon and the American River, California.
The gold rush. Have you kids ever heard of the gold rush? Yes, the gold rush. So what happened when James Marshall found gold? Did he keep it a secret? No. People clear out on the East Coast heard about it. And what did they do? They said, goodbye, Grandma, goodbye, Grandpa. And they sold all their stuff and they put it in a U-Haul truck. Did that what they did? They put it in a covered wagon and they started across the U.S. They had no idea what was going to happen, but what was on their mind? What was on their mind? Gold. That's all they could think about was gold. They would do anything to get that gold. Anything. They sold everything. They said goodbye to their friends. Some of them made them. Some of them got discouraged before they got the treasure and they went back home. Well, yes.
I would just stay home.
You'd have just stayed home. Well, you only go after something if you what? You really want it. That's right. Now, there's a story in the Bible, and I'm going to kind of add to it because it's just a very tiny, tiny verse in the Bible. So, we're going to give the guy's name Thomas. Okay, that's a good Bible name. Thomas was a farmer. Do we like farmers? What would we do without farmers? Thomas was a farmer. He was a good farmer, and every year he'd take Mr. Donkey out to the field, and he would plow and till the soil and take the rocks out. And this spring, he hooked up Mr. Donkey, Lillian, and you know what happened? He started plowing, and he got halfway through, and he stopped for lunch, and he had some goat cheese and some honey on some barley bread. Doesn't that sound yummy? And he got ready to plow again, and he's plowing, and he's plowing. And you know what happened? The donkey stopped. And he tapped the donkey on the back. Come on, Mr. Donkey, come on. Mr. Donkey tried to pull, and he goes, oh, we must be stuck on a rock again. So he ran and he got his shovel. He started shoveling. That doesn't look like a rock. It's a treasure chest. Have you ever found a treasure chest while you were digging? He got so excited. He lifted the lid And was there an ugly old book inside? No. There was actual jewels and gold and the most treasure he had ever seen in his whole life. But there was a problem. What was the problem? No, there was gold. And there was safflowers and there was diamonds. But what was the problem? The land didn't belong to him. So what does that mean? When you're out playing or you're at someone else's house and you find something, can you just take it? No, because it doesn't belong to you. So I thought, what am I going to do? So he said, guess what, donkey? We're having a short day today. And he went back to the barn, gave him some extra oats, because he was kind of one of the reasons why he found it, because he was plowing. And he stopped and he thought, what can I do? I have an idea. So he took a shower and he got his best clothes on. And you know what a landlord is? He had a landlord, Simon. He said, I'm going to go see Simon. You find something? Oh, you found gold coins when you were growing up. Wow. All right, so he knocked on the door, and Simon opened the door, and he's like, hello, Thomas, what are you doing here? You've already paid your rent. He says, I know, but I've been thinking. I think I'd like to buy the land. He didn't tell him there was treasure in it. He just said, I'd like to buy the land. Is it for sale? Now, did Simon have to sell the land to him? No. And Simon really wasn't interested in selling the land. So he thought, well, I'll write down a number and see if it works for you. Have you ever had that happen as an adult? And he looked at that number. Whoa, that was a pretty big number. But I want that land. I want it so bad that I'm going to take the trip. I'm not going to stay home because I have the treasure in my sight. So I thought, how am I going to get that money? That's more money than I've ever seen. I know, I don't need my plow anymore because, I'll have that treasure. I won't need to farm. So he sold his plow. Wasn't quite enough money. Oh, I don't need my wagon because I don't have to haul any vegetables to the market because I'm not going to be a farmer. So he sold his wagon. Counted the money up. Was it enough? No. He only had one thing left. His house. That was all he had left. So he put out a for sale sign. Well, he's not going to sell his food. Good point. But he sold his house. He didn't have a wagon, which would be like selling your car, and he didn't have his plow, which is like getting rid of all of your tools, and now he didn't have a house. But guess what? He had the perfect amount of money. So he ran back to Simon's house, and he knocked on the door. He said, I have the money for the land. And Simon was like, wow, you must have really wanted that land. Yes, I did. So they signed the papers, and now the land was his. And guess what? What did that mean when the land was his? He could have the treasure. But what did that treasure cost him? That treasure cost him everything he had. That's right. Do you remember in the Bible when the rich young ruler came to Jesus and said, what must I do to have eternal life? And when Jesus told him, what did it say? He walked away sorrowful because he wasn't willing. That wasn't his treasure. Now, in the Bible, we remember our story this morning, the Bible has treasures in it, and Jesus has given us many treasures. Heaven is a treasure, but there's also other treasures. Do you know that good health is a treasure? And sometimes we have to give up certain things to have that treasure. What about the treasure of the Sabbath? Some people have had to give up jobs in order to have that treasure. In the Bible, there's many treasures Jesus gives us, but sometimes we have to be willing to give up in order to have. Now, we'll ask someone from the audience to read Deuteronomy 7:6. Because It's a very special verse that tells who God's treasure is. We always think about our treasures, but God has a treasure. I think it's us. I hope it's us. Let's see what Deuteronomy 7:6 has. I bet Steve has it.
For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the people on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession.
Isn't that awesome? And what did Jesus give up so that he could have us back? His life. He was willing to give up his life. That's right. Okay. Well, I have some treasures, and this is a tricky one for you guys. Because usually when I give you something, I let you see it right away. But these treasures are not yours yet. They're your mom and dad's. And your mom and dad are going to decide what those treasures are going to cost. It might cost a week of no complaining. It might be a month of clean rooms. I don't know. It's not for me to decide. It's for mom and dad to decide. But the good thing is, I planned for 12 kids and there's only 5, which means you guys are going to get more than just one bag. So that's good. But just remember, it's mom and dad's choice to tell you the cost of what these treasures are. Are you up for it? Are you up for doing whatever they say in order to reach the goal? Now, I got something for the adults. During this time, each of you should think of a treasure that God has given and work towards obtaining that treasure, whether it's happier family, better health, whatever it is, you work towards that treasure while the kids are working towards theirs, okay? Now, the purple and yellow ones are things that girls might like more, and the red bags are what boys would like. So,
No, those are yellow.
what did I call them? Well, anyway, these little treasures, hopefully, they will be worth whatever mom and dad makes you do. Okay, so I think there's enough for a couple each. So start out by each choosing one bag, and then whatever's left over, we'll see if there's enough for a couple bags, which it looks like there is. It looks like the girls can each have one more bag, and the boys can each have another bag. And then maybe if we have a little brother, or we have a big brother, we can have the rest of the family. Okay, so are we all ready for the challenge of the treasure? But don't forget the treasures that God has given us, okay?